Hey, what's going on, guys? Boosted Whips here. Today we got some new tail lights. These are the V5s, which will be available around the end of August time frame. I'll give more details throughout the video, but these are the V5s. I'm gonna go ahead and give you an introduction of how they look on the back, and then I'll give you, of course, on how they light up, the brake, the reverse, the turn signals, and obviously how they power on. These here are more of a OEM style like, but they do light up with some nice unique features. So I think this tail light here, for those that don't like the whole overall designs of V1, V2, V3 or V4, because sometimes it has too much going on, these here stick to the OEM kind of style, and then adds in all the other features the other four have. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, get into the whole installation, show you the back, and I also will be announcing the winner of the giveaway of the boot giveaway that I offered on my last video. I was able to get a set with the plastic frame already, so I'll announce the winner at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. And along with that, the Aero Spec Racing badges. So these has a winner already, which is a combo between the leather boot. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on these V5s. Close up of the outer lens tail lamp. So in the front, as you guys can see, you have your OEM kind of design lines here. This is all gonna light up, and of course it has its own power on animation and lighting sequence. It has a reflector, which is great, and the brake lights are gonna be full LED, kind of a style from the V2, so it carries in over, which is a bunch of dots, LEDs. On the other piece, which is the inner piece, same thing. Follows the two lines here, kind of like the OEM does, and the reverse light is right here, full LED, as you guys can see up front. And then on the back we have your connections. So this is going to be a direct plug and play, same as the other ones. This is going to go to your main harness, and then these other two are all going to be tied into either the bigger lamp and into a harness that's supplied inside the box. So very straightforward. The green is going to go to green, yellow is going to go to yellow on the big lamp, and then this one here is going to go to a brown harness that's included, which I'll show you right now. It's this one right here. So this harness here is going to go from the brown wire across to the other tail light side, either your passenger or into the driver one. So this long harness is going to be routed. I'll show you how everything gets done anyways, but so that you have an idea, this is where the brown wire is going to get connected to with this long harness. So I'll show you here on the big one. You have extensions here for the green one, so this is going to be wired to the smaller tail lamp, the yellow as well. Sorry, has a long cable extension, so that way you can route it and map both tail lights. And then the brown wire comes off of the reverse, which will get plugged into the other inner lamp on the opposite side of your vehicle with this harness that I explained earlier. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and do one side, show you guys more or less how to get into access panel, but it's always the same across all of them, and we'll go ahead and take it from there. Let's go ahead and remove this plastic here. I already had it loosely off, so it should come off fairly easy. If this is your first time doing it, this part is actually attached much harder, and you're gonna have to put some pressure on it, but with a pry tool it should make it easy. Your next step is to go ahead and remove these two screws. I'm gonna go ahead and remove them and show you the connection in the inside. Screws are Phillips based, so you can use a Phillips head screwdriver, or you can use an 8mm socket to remove these screws to facilitate the process. are removed. The tail light, all you have to do is push outward. It's being held on by these two clips here onto the chassis, so all you have to do is unfasten those by pushing away from you, and that comes off. The connection you're gonna go ahead and remove is this one. I'm using the V3 as an example here, but your OEM is gonna have this type of plug, and all you have to do is press on the main connection, which is this one here, which has like a press release clip. So all you have to do is kind of press on it, and you disconnect it from your OEM lights. And then the extra cables, which are on any of the aftermarket tail lights, are going to be routed through that hole there, which is being closed by a rubber grommet. So this rubber grommet, you're going to remove it, and that's where we're going to go ahead and lead the cables, the extension cables, up to the trunk. So I'll show you that now. All right, I went ahead and I already routed the yellow and green cable into that hole that I explained earlier, and it's routed into the trunk liner. I'll show you where we route that into the second lamp. Then you're gonna connect the main harness here from your vehicle into the connection on the V5s. It only goes one way, so all you have to do is secure it on there until it clicks, and you're good to go. Go ahead and move to the next step. You also want to make sure you secure the connection on this hole. There's a hole on the actual tail lamp where you can secure this. This is the clip, goes on there, gets snapped on. You want to go ahead and secure the rubber grommet on here once you have already routed the cable successfully. And then we're gonna go ahead and line up the tail light and insert it and secure it with the two screws we removed earlier. Go ahead and start on the two pins that are on the side of the chassis. You want to go ahead and secure those, and then here on the bottom there's a groove that you want to make sure you cover, so that way the tail light is seated properly and also aligned. And then all you have to do is secure it with the two screws, and we can go ahead and move to the inner piece that's located on the trunk side and continue with that. And remove the liner from the trunk. It's being held down by 10 clips. They're push, so you can use a flathead screwdriver or one of those pry tools that you can remove these specific type of clips. I'm gonna go ahead and remove those on there, and then we'll move to the next step. Go ahead and remove 8 black 8mm bolts, which you'll see them here. There's one there, one above, and then 2 on the opposite side, which are one here and one by where this cable is. The last one is this white one here. This white one here is the one that's holding the centerpiece bar where the emblem is. That one is a Phillips head, so you'll use a Phillips screwdriver to remove that one, and you'll use an 8mm socket to go ahead and remove the 4 screws that I mentioned. You can also use a 5/16 to remove that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and then we'll move to the next step. Go ahead, you're gonna start from the outside, and you're just gonna snap. Just like so. Don't be afraid to add some pressure on it. It's gonna start coming off all the way till you get to the other end. You're gonna go ahead and remove this piece out of there, and we'll move to the next step. What and do is remove 2 connections, this one here and this one here. It's also being held on by some secure clip inside this hole, so you want to go ahead and remove that harness out of there to get it out of your way. Here's one. There's 2, and this one's a little tricky, so it's 2 push side little handles that's on there, and it comes off like so. Now you're ready to go ahead and work on the inner light, held on by 4 additional 8mm bolts, 2 on the outer side, which are located here, and 2 on the physical light itself, one here and one here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove those, and then the lamp comes off, and I'll show you how the connections go. tail light, you're gonna be left with these two connections. This one here specifically, which is your reverse light, all you gotta do is remove the bulb, the stock OEM bulb, or if you have an LED bulb, whatever bulb you have, go ahead and remove it, leave the socket, leave the power connection connected to this socket, and you have your main harness. On the new tail light, you have your reverse connection. This is polarity sensitive, so of course connect the black with black, white with white when you insert it into this connection. As you can see, this is also color coded. It's black and kind of like a beige one. That would be kind of like your white one. So that's where the orientation you're going to connect into this plug right here. Your main harness from the V5 taillights goes to the main harness that's on here. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and insert the tail light from above. I'm going to route the cables. I'm going to align the screw hose. Like so. So now all you have to do is connect connection with connection. So your main harness, which is the big one, goes connected here until you hear a click. That's done. These two cables, as you guys saw, it's going to be connected to the harness from the big lamp, the yellow and the green one. So that's going to get connected later on, which I'll show you. This white cable, which is routed to a brown cable, it's going to go to the long harness, which is supplied, which I covered earlier. The reverse light, which is just this little cable right here, this is where you're going to plug this in. Make sure it's white with white and black with black. In this case, white is on the right side. So you'll connect it like so. So white is coming into the white and black is being routed to black here. And then this socket comes with a little rubber. You remove that and you can route this on here and put the socket back into the tail lamp. Like so. So that way it gives it that OEM look. We'll go ahead and connect these last two cables. Go ahead and put on the 4 screws back on there and we'll fire it up. It's already secured. You can go ahead and connect the long harnesses that's coming from the large tail lamp, which you routed these cables through the inner trunk. You're going to connect the green and the yellow. Make sure to secure the waterproof seal here. All you have to do is insert it in. You can use some needle nose pliers to help you out. I did it with my fingers. It's a little bit hard, but if you put enough pressure on it, the connections will go in securely. That's that one. And then this one here, you're going to use the supplied harness, which is a long one. It's this one right here. And this one, you're going to go ahead and you're going to route it across to the other tail lamp once it's installed. So I'm going to connect this end now. Like so, and leave this cable just hanging on here. I'm gonna go ahead and route it through the actual trunk trims here so that it's nicely secured across to the other side. This harness here is to make sure that both sides, passenger and driver side, are in sync. So that's where that harness goes. This other end is gonna go to your other inner tail lamp. As you guys saw, I started on the driver's side, so of course in this scenario this cable is going to get routed to the passenger inner light to connect that brown connection, which I will cover in a little bit. I installed the other side. I just wanted to show you here. Here's the long harness. I routed it through the trunk and I connected it to the brown connection on the opposite side, and then the rest of the connections is the same as the previous side that we did. And that is it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finalize this up, tie wrap this to the hinge of the trunk, organize these cables here as well, tie wrap them, make it look nicely, and then we'll finalize the install by putting everything back together, the liner and the center trim piece. complete, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the power on animation. I have the headlights on, and I'm just gonna unlock it. The animation is triggered by the headlight. I have said that multiple times on all my videos, so whenever your headlights are triggered, it's when the animation will be triggered. So there's the animation. Hard to see here on the camera, guys, but it's actually red. You're seeing orange. It's actually red, so the turn signals on the bottom area is actually orange. So they switch between orange when you have your turn signals, and when you don't, they're actually red. So here's the power on animation again, but it's actually red. For some reason on the camera it's showing orange, but it is red. So that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the hazards. I'm gonna power on the car. I'm gonna show you brake and reverse all at once, and we'll wrap this video up and announce the winner. The time has come to go ahead and announce the winner of the Aero Spec Racing real carbon fiber in translucent blue badges and the Italian leather with blue stitching leather boot for the auto transmission CVT. And the winner is Bradley Baynard. Bradley Baynard, congratulations, and thanks for entering. Everyone that went ahead and comment, also thank you for participating, and I hope to continue doing different giveaways as such, and we'll keep going. Thanks for your support. Once again, like, share, and subscribe for the V5 taillights, and more details will follow. I'll put everything in the description, and obviously we will provide a discount code which you would have to email, and I'll give you that code for the discount. I believe they're gonna go for $330 shipped with my promo code. And yeah, so if you have any comments, questions, go ahead and drop them below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, Boosted Whips, I'm out. Have a very pleasant day, and once again, congrats to the winner.